Hello, my wonderful and amazing people of God. I greet you all in the name of God and I bring you all good tidings. On a day, Dr. Kemi is at it again. She's here to explain to us the autopsy result. You know, she put a lot of blame on Tonto, Dikeh, Iyabor, and a certain politician, a certain Oba, that she says she's going to, spill their names at the appropriate time. This Mohbad, Justice for Mohbad, she's encouraging doctors and pathologists to come out and interpret the autopsy result to the world, to Nigerians, because she said that a lot of things were in that autopsy result that they said in the inquest that was not in the autopsy result. That a lot of the things that were told to Nigerians were like fabricated. That's what she said. You will hear it from her mouth. I'm just going to let you all listen to Dr. Kemi because she has a lot of blame, and she allegedly said that Tonto Dikeh and Iyabor are supposed to be in prison because they were going to put them in prison of what they had said concerning.
Before I retire, that no journalist must say there's no cause of death. What I thought was I want people to always report a cause of death. The only thing that should prevent a journalist from reporting a cause of death is privacy. I taught that in my school. A music artist lost his mom. I know what killed his mom, and it was very bad. What killed that music artist's mother was very bad and sudden. Sometimes when people die and it's a sudden death, it becomes sadder. Okay? Because your jade, ko lọ sínú mọ́tò, ko lọ supermarket, ko kick trailer agba, ko de ku just like that. Nigeria can lose America like that. This past week. Sudden death can be very sad. This celebrity's mother died of a very sad death. But because of her age and because her daughters wanted to celebrate her life, we saw a nice big funeral. But her cause of death was not announced because of privacy. That is the only reason. When Mohbad left the concert, there were drugs in his system. He takes Molly. He was holding a cup filled with degenerate bitters. Cubana chief priest, Soso Berekon's brands. Those guys have not spoken till today. The people that sponsored the concert. The alcoholic bitters may have been mixed with Molly. When that was in his system, which is dangerous as it is, he got drunk and tipsy. And the police press conference told you guys, Edu, thank you, that Mohbad was impaired and he wanted to stand on top of the car with his head out of the sunroof to wave to his fans. As a solo artist, that was his comeback. Prime Boy pulled him back and said, don't do that, it's too dangerous. Meaning that they could have people that were from Malian music out there to harm him. He came out of the car and punched Prime Boy. I missed the punch. Instead, he punched the car. His entire hand was damaged. There was a wound, and they went home. They called the nurse. The nurse was not around, so they called another nurse. As they were going upstairs, there was an argument that ensued between Mohbad and Wunmi. According to my investigation and what I heard, a bottle of something was thrown. If you throw a bottle of beer or a bottle of bitters or a bottle of something, I don't know. If you throw something at someone, it'll break, right? So now, picking up the broken bottle and then attacking Mohbad with it is another thing. The father said, "Who stabbed his son?" The auntie said, "Who stabbed his son?" The autopsy was done in front of the family in September. September 21st, the autopsy was finished. Why did the pathologist not discuss the external autopsy results at the inquest yesterday? That is Falana's job. That is Falana's job. To distort the information. An autopsy is a report of what killed somebody. Included in that autopsy is a toxicology report. It is part of it. It is part of it. Nigerian police tweeted Benjamin Hundeyin on the 21st of September that the autopsy is ready. We're just waiting for the toxicology test. It takes 6 weeks. I posted that. I sent it to Ben Hundeyin. I said, I've almost finished my own investigation on this side. I'm helping the NDLA with this situation because I was the only journalist that actually talked about the NDLA arrest. And Mohbad was not arrested by the NDLA. He fled. Him and Wunmi fled. The very next day, I went on Cool FM. I had to go and look for that so that the NDLA can be vindicated because Tonto Dikeh and Iyabor were bent on defaming the NDLA. Shinilo Kubai, DSS, was asked to enter the investigation. Shinilo Kubai arrest Iyabor and Tonto. Do you know what that means? Yoruba speaking people, non-Yoruba speaking people, Timu, thank you for the stars. Everybody sending me Sadinka, thank you for the stars. Those of you that don't understand Yoruba, let me just say this. Tiny little bit like this. DSS was asked to enter the investigation. Do you know why they entered the investigation? What was their job? They were going to carry Tonto and Iyabor and arrest them. If Iyabor and Tonto were arrested by the DSS, they will not see the light of the day for 2 years. DSS does not arrest people and release them like police. You will be there for 2 years in their dungeon. Because what they did was seriously serious. Iyabor and Tonto came up with a lie and went to sit down in the office of the police commissioner saying the NDLA poisoned Mohbad. Something that happened February of 2022. And that is one of the reasons I started the NDLA spaces. The very next day I went to Cool FM. I spoke to Cool FM. Man interviewed me over the phone. I was the only one that tweeted it. The Nigerian media did not do anything. Oh, the NDLA raided it. I had the video I posted. You saw Wunmi was going towards Dikeh now. Wunmi was going towards an NDLA guy, going to hit the guy. You can see Sheyi shouting, Wunmi. She was high as a bat. At the end of the day, people, what did I do? So as the NDLA being vindicated, I sent a letter to Marwa, like, can we have the names of who are the people that were arrested? And the agents came up with the name. There was no Ileri Olua, Oladimeji, Aloba. Because Mohbad fled, the very next day Mohbad came out, the very thing happens to be blame Malia music. I want to ati Iyabor. Why be footage here on the 2023 footage? You see how they lie, how they distort news. They now went and made that footage a 2023 footage when it was actually 2022. If anything happens to me, blame Naamali and Malia music. Meanwhile, Naamali is in Sweden. I contacted him. I said, you better come down. They've raided your house and arrested all your artists. Naamali was tweeting from the airport saying the NDLA beats my artists, not knowing that they didn't want to arrest Mohbad. So some of you are now carrying that tweet. You are now saying, Chebi Naamali tweeted it, or Denini. Use your brain. There are ways to vindicate people. Every time I go on a radio station, I always ask for a clip. Luckily, I had the clip from Cool FM. And when I spoke to Cool FM, last night they raided the Malian house, everything. Mohbad got away, blah, blah, blah. You see, you can't change that. Then I did my TikTok videos on the high blood pressure situation. A year later, I brought everything out. Vindicated, right? It's more than vindicated. It's to tell you that you should stop these lies, Iyabor and Tonto. Marwa was out of the country. They were defaming Marwa. Do you know the kind of work Marwa has done since Buhari put him there? Since Buhari put Marwa there, do you know the kind of work this man has done? All the drug dealers he has arrested, oh my God, they started a program for drug addicts. They started a toll-free number with doctors, psychologists, pharmacists, everybody ready to help you. The NDLA had a new look. They were helping people, not just arresting. They were educating people. Agents were going to school. People like Kemi had their own programs too. We came on the spaces every Friday. I'm still on the spaces. I was there 18 months. I've been there for the last 3-4 weeks now. Any Friday I have free, I'll go on the spaces from any country or anywhere. You heard what they said last week. Like, she's calling from Maryland, she's calling from Ghana, she's calling from Mauritius, different parts of the world where I'm working. And I try to make it. With all that, 2 ordinary, useless actresses wanted to mess his name up by saying that NDLA poisoned Mohbad. I can tell you that now. Because it's over. The DSS was about to arrest Iyabor and Tonto. Marwa was not taking it funny. Imagine if they were arrested for defamation. That would have been a serious one.
But they are the one arresting people for defamation now.
Anywhere you see Tonto and Iyabor flaunting a foundation, flaunting a sick person, they are using that information to eat. They have no means of livelihood. That's how they fund their lifestyle. Tonto runs Gist Lover. He employed people who don't even know she's the employer. Some of those boys were helping them convert crypto to cash. And they didn't know it was Tonto and Iyabor that they were working for until they were arrested. I think one of them is out now. You have to be careful defaming people and messing people up. Anyway, the NDLA one was out of there. So I ended up telling, what's the name of this guy? Ben Hondane, that my own investigation, this woman, Wunmi, is the one they should be looking at. She's a person of interest. And then he said they interviewed her 3 times. They grilled her 3 times. They interviewed her 3 times, Wunmi, and they didn't find anything. Èmi sọ fún yín pé ọba kan wà lÉkòó, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má gbé gbogbo Ẹlẹ́gùṣì stuff wá sí side mi, okay? Mi mọ nǹkan tí Wunmi ní ṣe pẹ̀lú Ẹlẹ́gùṣì, okay? I don't know anything about that, but ọba kan wà nínú Èkó yẹn. Okay, a major king who is known very well to shield people from prosecution. Tí n bá ṣe documentary tán tàbí tí n bá kọ ìwé tán, lè máa rúrúkọ everybody. People get ready. Wunmi was shielded from prosecution by a politician in Abuja, who I won't mention the name yet because it will be in my documentary or my book. That politician, if you paid attention, came to see Wunmi after the whole Mohbad thing happened. The politician was introduced to Wunmi by Tonto Dikeh. They were only there for the money. Ó dùn mí gan tí mo bá máa run investigative journalism outfits. Tamani kẹ́ donate, ẹ lọ donate sí Kora Obidi fowó yín lọ gbé lọ sí vacation. Olóhùn fẹ́ legal help. You are giving the wrong people money. You are donating to. Shebi, I said we shouldn't donate to Wunmi. Did I not say it? Stop donating to Mohbad's wife and the child. Did I not tell you that the child is not his and she has to have a DNA test? And then VDM2 was saying his own on his side. I don't talk to VDM. I don't know him from anywhere. Doesn't talk to me. The only time he mentioned my name is that if Wunmi's sister Karimo talk with me in September, don't shake with me on the phone. Timba release gbogbo audio ẹ wo. You find it funny. Google documentary. I don't work with anybody. I don't work with VDM. I'm an investigative journalist. VDM is more like a social media personality, self-styled activist, whatnot. Everybody's doing their own thing. My own work involves intense investigation. Why did they bury Mohbad so fast? Nigerians, we are the investigative journalists. Let us do the work. You have to have a brain that's not the Tonto Iyabor brain. Justice for Mohbad. Anytime they see an opportunity for money, they will now say justice stuff. Where are they now? Are they still looking for justice for Mohbad? Want to cash out? This guy remember Wunmi lano. Tony told you about settle the one expose. Kilo cheleni umbe kuma binu. Please forget about the family. The family stuff. They were out there for the money. If you go back to when Mohbad was being buried after he died, do you remember vividly that they were fighting at the graveside? Or nobody remembers that? That they were fighting at the graveside over Mohbad's property. We're not even talking about the music assets. Over his property. A land, a house, whatever. All the property information and papers are with Wunmi's mother. You guys know that, right? My DPO in Aja police station, my DPO over there did not issue a police report from Mohbad's body when they left Parents Hospital. When they left Parents Hospital, because I hear this nonsense talk that most Nigerians are saying. Why did Mohbad's father rush to bury him? He didn't rush. Use your brain. You can't have a brain like mine. Not everybody can do investigative journalism. Didn't rush to bury that child. There was something they were hiding. And they wanted that thing hidden 6 feet under. But God punished them and exposed them. When the man got his son's body, the DPO failed to give them a police report. The police report would have allowed them to put Mohbad's body inside a mortuary in a Ikorodu or wherever they want to go. Without a police report, nobody is coming into the mortuary. They didn't have a police report, so they had to bury Mohbad right away. Have you ever smelled a dead body? The first time I smelled a dead body, Mary's body, they left her body inside her shack overnight, and she was buried in the morning. The girl that cleans our compound in Aja. The smell. I was even wearing true pandemic mask. So Mohbad's father took the body to the place where they wanted to bury him that evening. And the chairman of the community said they can't bury him at night, that he must come back in the morning. In the morning, they came back and they buried him. Guys, are you getting what I'm saying? The reason why they rushed to bury Mohbad, aside from the smell of the dead body, is the fact that they rigged his body with a cocktail of drugs. Remember, at that time, we didn't know anything about the drugs. It was after they exhumed his body and they arrested the nurse. And the nurse told all the medications she gave. That's when we knew that they had rigged Mohbad with a cocktail of drugs. Kini ya Mohbad ati ya Wunmi wo. So ya Wunmi masako won pe Wunmi hire nurse. Wunmi hire nurse. Tí wọ́n fún Mohbad ní oríṣiríṣi antibiotics, anti-inflammatory, until ìgbà tó bá fún ní cephalosporin tó pa, tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní seizures. Ọrùn ẹ̀tẹ́gún kọ́. Why is the pathologist not telling us external autopsy results? Nigerians, focus. Autopsy is not just inside your body. It's inside and outside. Let them post that autopsy results online. I will interpret it for you or any doctors. I was ashamed that many Nigerian doctors online kept quiet yesterday. Our Nigerian doctors at home, abroad, everyone's supposed to be talking. Not a clinical pharmacist alone. But for the fact that I'm an investigative journalist, they were supposed to be talking. What about the external? Mobile was in the ground for 7 days, and you saw a fluid, like when they brought him out. There's a process called rigor mortis and another process called livor mortis. Rigor mortis and livor mortis is a process in which the body starts to decay. And the first thing to go is the liver. The liver and the kidneys are where all drugs are metabolized. The prescription drugs, the molly and the legal drug. Gbogbo nǹkan tó wà nínú mobile. Wọ́n á take sample yẹn, ẹ wá lè send this America. You did not send anything to America, Dr. Somari. You wanted it to make it look like you sent it to America. We as the people have the right to know where it was sent. Oh, I've retired. You guys can do this. This is where the Nigerian media are absolutely fucked up. Nobody in the Nigerian media questioned Mr. Falana on why the media was banned. Remember I told you guys that this is a cover-up. The media was banned throughout the autopsy, throughout the inquest. When I was doing my own 2 months investigation, my own interns were inside. Remember that picture of Wunmi wearing black? Intern Mikoloya here now. So at the end of the day, Mr. Falana knew what he was hiding. He kept the media outside. If you want to have Shitu, don't address media lano. Kini she Wahab Shitu, son. Ono mama address media. Ibo di yawo Falana wa. Shebi yawo Falana no basically see. Ti Falana wa in background. Wahab Shitu was of Google media. Basically the world media. We cannot ascertain what killed him. Because his body had decayed so far, 7 days. People, if drugs are not involved, let me tell you this part. I will tell you this part as a clinical pharmacist. Any pharmacist will tell you that, clinical or not. Retail pharmacists will tell you this. When there's no drugs involved, you can exhume a body, all right, and know what killed the person. An autopsy means opening the body and seeing every single organ. You must look at every single organ and make sure. Do you remember the team that Sanwo-Olu put together? The team of medical experts, forensic experts, dollars. She got a for watching taxpayer money. It's one parok by Egbelos America. Emi o si Nigeria mo. Me de sinu journalism mo. But all of you are supposed to be posting to all the journalists. Every Nigerian media was supposed to ask where they took that to. It's 24 hours now, nobody has asked. Dear Lagos State Government, we'd like to know the name of the lab where the toxicology test for Mohbad went for 8 months. A toxicology test takes 6 weeks. Mohbad's one went away for 8 months to another country. We need the name of the lab in America. Okay? We need the name of the lab in America. Software. Even HIPAA laws. America has a privacy law called HIPAA, Health Information Portability Privacy Act. HIPAA cannot even take that jurisdiction. Who sent me 5,000 stars? God bless you, Justina. Tokumba Zemota. Oh, thank you, Tokumbo. Oh, that's a lot of stars. Tokumbo Shegon. HIPAA cannot even have a jurisdiction over that. HIPAA is a privacy law. If Kemi comes and says, I need to know the lab where you tested Mohbad's fluids, his blood and body fluids, in rigor mortis stage, they're supposed to give us the name of that lab. That lab might say, we can't give you the information. It be animal to stop. But nobody has asked. That's the trick they play in Nigeria. When you don't ask, they want you to be stupid. Go and ask Showore. Showore will tell you, once they see you as stupid, they want to keep you like that. The media is stupid.
That's true.
24 hours, nobody in the media has asked the name of the lab.
That's true.
Unfortunately, if they give you the name of the lab, you can't talk to the lab because the lab will say they have privacy law. Dr. Somari, you are running the Lagos Forensic Center. There's a line we heard that the reason why you took Mohbad's toxicology abroad was because they burned down the Forensic Center during NSARS. Really? And it wasn't rebuilt like everything else? Dr. Somari, you're involved in Michael Ataga's murder, and you found DNA samples in his blood on that girl's Chidima Ojuku's clothes. You are doing forensic tests there. We have hospitals that can do toxicology tests. UCH, Ibadan, Luth, anywhere. We have schools that are teaching toxicology. We have drug rehab centers all over Nigeria, NDLEA centers, private drug rehab centers who do toxicology tests. When we have somebody on drugs, and the first thing when they come to rehab, we have to do a toxicology test for them. We want to know what's the poisons inside their body. And you are sending Mohbad's results, Mohbad's toxi abroad. How dare you? Who is that bold in the Nigerian media that can call it fools? They have not done it. I've retired. That's why I told somebody was asking me about the video on where was it, on Instagram or somewhere. I said, please, I've retired. The video should be resting from me now, because if I wasn't retired, all that one going on with Bobo Ajujua, his lawyer, and Stella and everything, I would have gotten involved. David is a liar. You already know that. So I won't get into that. It's even worse than what you think. You guys had me 11 years. You insulted me, so I'm not giving anybody any gist. I'm just watching. I'm only praying for one person, Wizkid and Portable, because they're setting up Portable for the same thing they did to Mohbad. Portable has a lot of grace, and he has gotten a lot of grace. That song he did with that British artist, that song will be nominated for British Grammy, and then you'll see who will win. Give us the name. Give us the name of the lab you took it to abroad, and how you collected the samples and took it so that it won't be damaged in the flight and everything. You might say you took it abroad because his body was already decomposed. Post it online. Nigerians must not agree with that autopsy result. But do agree? You must let them know you want external autopsy result. Full autopsy posted online for transparency. Full autopsy. What is the laceration on his neck for? Tano gumo ba lobe abi broken bottle lorun. Did they dissect Mohbad before they embalmed him? Who gave Darusha permission to embalm Mohbad? Illegal mortician. Imagine the police had closed the case, blasted Iyabor, remember, in November, and said the case is not with us anymore. It's now with the DPP. Now we have the police back into the case, inviting Darusha on the 9th of May. 8th of May. Darusha comes with his own lawyer, Odumosu. I'm even trying to investigate whether that one is related to the former, the stupid Odumosu in the Oromoni case. You have not noticed that all the Lagos CPs, they retire after they've messed up a case. Odumosu retired after Oromoni case. Owonha retired after Mohbad case. The same thing with Bamishe's case. 2 years, no autopsy for Bamishe. Raped and killed by a bus driver. 6 feet under. Bus driver is inside Kirikiri, still eating every day. Nonsense. Why was the media not allowed inside throughout? Because the media won't be hearing all these lies. Who is the pathologist? They need to post the entire autopsy online. That is what, if you know Mohbad's father, go and tell him. Any post autopsy on you online. Ki go with doctors Nigeria. At our medical profession Nigeria. Ko interpret the fan when you. A very excellent autopsy. Formalin. Tobati wonu ara. O ma melt with organs faster. Mohbad was already 6 feet under. So to my body Mohbad daddy. Don't take any kind of samples from toxicology tests. You cannot tell which drug was in that boy's system at that point. So what they said in the court was right, but it was botched and made up. We can't know whether Wunmi poisoned Mohbad. Remember she said when Mohbad was vomiting and having that reaction to the cephalosporin drug, and they rushed him to the hospital and we saw them in traffic. Remember? It was convulsing. You saw his neck move. Where did she say she was? She was in the kitchen cooking indomie. The same indomie she cooks and poisons it with drugs that will make him sleep so that she can go and do hook up. People, wake up. So, what I wanted to see in the toxicology test was what did Mohbad ingest at the club, at the concert. That should have been the first thing that they took from his body once he was exhumed. However, that may not show again because if Mohbad put Molly inside bitters, by the time they started treating him inside the house, we're going to metabolize now. Oti kúrò no system ṣe bó ti tọ̀ ṣe bó ti yàgbẹ́. From the concerts, which was the 11th, I believe it was the 11th of September, to the 13th when he died, in those 24, 48 hours, anything he ingested would have been metabolized. Because new drugs were now inserted into him, were administered to him. So this is like a pharmacy thing, a medical thing, and doctors are quiet. I have a list somewhere. Ceftriaxone, cephalosporin antibiotic, iodine tincture, penicillin G. There was a lot of stuff. I have the list. The girl was playing nurse, and she was not under the supervision of anyone. An auxiliary nurse is supposed to be under the supervision of a RN, a registered nurse. So now, the people protecting Wunmi that they don't want her prosecuted have won. Unless you and your mom Nigeria, you protest that autopsy and you tell them to release it. The only person that can allow them to release the full autopsy is Mohbad's father, one that has the custody. Notice Wunmi's family are saying they should go and bury him. Oh, rinko rimoko. Kon lo bury. Enye your issue. A private autopsy cannot be conducted now. Autopsy doesn't work like that. This is a decayed body. You can't do a private autopsy because we don't need the autopsy. Autopsy is cutting the body into pieces. Carry the liver. Look at it. We had to do autopsies before we graduated. That's part of my clerkship. I had to go through 2 autopsies. Carry the liver, carry the kidney, carry the heart, carry every organ to make sure, carry everything to make sure bullet didn't enter. To make sure blood. Do you know how long your autopsy takes? And the family was there watching it. They will put them in one place with glass and they'll be watching it. Darusha is saying that he did not embalm Mohbad, that his page was hacked. Afegmonye, what's he arrested? Tele. It wasn't. He said his page was hacked. Nonsense. The police invited him. Maybe I posted it on Punch. Can you an internal autopsy? But they've already told us that his liver had already decomposed, so they're not telling us about that thing on his neck, because his father and his auntie were at the autopsy and they saw it. And that autopsy was leaked to journalists. Some of us saw it. Somebody lacerated in Mohbad. Darisha has lied that he says Adura that's embalmed him and not him. Prime boy, little Matashiri Wunmi very soon. Guys, we don't have a cause of death for Mohbad. But do you remember what Wunmi said? Wunmi said, I know how Mohbad died, but I cannot say because they're threatening me. We're not stupid. Remember what Wahab Shitu said outside the court? He said, we looked into the fight between Mohbad and his wife. Shorishe, the fights. She fights to share a local step. To guni broken bottle. We looked at the Naira Marley and Sam Larry bullying. And of course, we also looked at all the medicines they gave him after the hand injury. So she said they've looked at everything. They've looked at everything. So it's hard to tell what killed him. And let's come up with the cause of death. Now, guys, according to science, whenever there's no drugs involved, toxicology is a little bit simpler. But when there's drugs involved, forget it. You can't really, when there are drugs involved, you can't really get a very good results. There were drugs involved before the nurse arrived, and there were plenty of drugs involved when the nurse arrived. And Wunmi could have poisoned his Indomie. Anyway, it's just like, this is what happened with Adeleke, and I kept fighting and fighting and fighting. Hey, my uncle, my name is Shekini Kondi. Now, guys, according to science, whenever there's no drugs involved, toxicology is a little bit simpler. But when there's drugs involved, forget it. You can't really, when there are drugs involved, you can't really get a very good results. There were drugs involved before the nurse arrived, and there were plenty of drugs involved when the nurse arrived. And Wunmi could have poisoned his Indomie. Anyway, it's just like, this is what happened with Adeleke, and I kept fighting and fighting and fighting. Hey, my uncle, my name is Shekini Davido this day. Who is Davido? Who remembers when I was fighting for the Adeleke autopsy? Does anybody remember? 2013. How old was Davido in 2013? 19, 20 years old, something. Forget Davido, I beg. Hey, more. The Adelekes, the lawyers are very good family friends. It's just that I want to come myself for Davido ko abe mi. Oh, sorrow. Oh, Fedasi. Oh, she will on bepop see me. What are you going for? Anyway, Davido is out of my league now since I'm not practicing anymore. But during the Adeleke autopsy, they arrested the nurse. The whole part of it is that they felt that the nurse had given him an overdose of the painkiller and killed him. Then they turned it into somebody sponsored the nurse. Now, the medication the nurse administered was very, very high. The dose was high, but Sheribami was in pain. So now, There are questions supposed to be asked, and no one's asking the questions. The people who are supposed to be asking the questions are the Nigerian media. Will the nurse be released? Is this case going to be prosecuted? The case is with the DPP. The police said the case has left them and it's with the DPP, but the police went back to invite Darusha. Darusha goes and posts on his Instagram now that he hacked his page. He's not the one that even... he's not the one that embalmed Mohbad. So accountability was in the case here at all.
Please share and subscribe. Thank you.